American Beauty is a cinematic masterpiece and box office success that rips apart the fabricated ideology of the American dream. In short, American Beauty is a midlife crisis of a sexually frustrated suburban father who takes a less than appropriate infatuation with his daughter's best friend. But to elaborate, telesales operative Lester becomes disillusioned with his existence and begins to hunger for fresh excitement in his life. His desire to get in his daughter's friend's, Angela's, pants sparks a new awakening in Lester. He realized that his all-American life doesn't have to be miserable, passive, and sexless. He starts working out, quits his job, and pursues an active fantasy towards a minor. But we're not here to talk about how things shake down. This is about how director Sam Mendes creates a world of boxes and traps that can be escaped only through fantasy or violence, utilizing cinematic techniques elevated by the lighting in American Beauty. American Beauty focuses on the juxtaposing moods of dejection and dispirit to that of fantastical reverie and awakening. The audience feels the entrapments of corporate life as well as the apathy and dispassionate mood of Lester's workplace. The lights are all cool toned to resemble the fluorescent lights of everyday American office spaces. The lack of fill light on Lester's face draws attention to the shadows that fall down his right side, making him look a bit more sunken and tired. The color gradient, while not directly related to lighting, is the same cool tone as the lighting.
Hey, Les. You got a minute?
For you, Brad, I got 5.
So, yeah.
The lighting in the office scene is motivated by the light streaming from the window, then supported by the fluorescent lights in the office itself. The light here symbolizes a means of escape, a way out of the boxes and traps of his miserable corporate life. The blinds that lazily cover the light streaming from outside represents a feeling of being behind bars or in the corporate cell. Mendes and his director of photography, Conrad Hall, also paid close attention to camera and lighting placements to depict symmetrical compositions, offering a sense of balance in the scenes. The dinner table scene shows Lester sitting stage right, his wife Carolyn across from him stage left, and their daughter Jane sitting in the middle between them. The room feels dim and empty like their relationship. The key light in the scene comes from a hard overhead light at the center of the table that highlights Jane's face, the receding hairline of Lester, and catches the gray hairs on Caroline's head. Lester and Caroline's faces are lit by moonlight streaming in from the windows and filled by the soft glow of candles placed on the table. The distance in their relationship is felt physically by the lack of light on them from the key light in the wide shot. The stylistic choice of using cool tone light tips the viewers off that this relationship is not warm and fuzzy, it is cold and demeaning. Keeping Lester and Caroline just outside of the brightest light keys the viewers in on the space between them. Jane sits between them in the light as the only hope for their relationship and possibly the only reason they're still together. To juxtapose the previously mentioned scene's lack of depth and light, the first time Lester lays eyes on Jane's friend Angela is literally spotlight. The high contrast and hard lighting in this scene compared to the rest of the film symbolizes an awakening of enlightenment and sexual appetite. The lighting is a visual cue that tells the viewer, hey, this is a really big moment. The low-key lighting utilized in this scene, along with the increased contrast and depth, tells the audience that Angela is exciting and new. She is the object of Lester's ultimate desires: youth and freedom. Lester's first encounter with a new desire for freedom is symbolized by the weed he smokes with Ricky, the new neighbor. He stands in the dark, open alley, lit only by a soft, distant light from above. Lester is then summoned back inside by Carolyn as she opens the door and a glowing mustard yellow light pours out. The putrid yellow light is a synthetic happiness Lester tries to flee. Similarly to his workplace, there are bars cutting the light to symbolize the entrapment of the American dream. This scene utilizes soft light to give the illusion of being in a dreamlike state. Light is not directly illuminating from the source in this scene, and everything is hazy. A singular light, probably a softbox, is placed behind one of the windows to give off just enough luminance to evoke both mystery and intrigue. The soft light evenly disperses over Angela in the tub, emphasizing the romance and seduction of Lester's fantasies.
Been working out, haven't you? I could tell. I was hoping you'd give me a bath. I'm very, very dirty.
The lighting in the death scene mirrors the lighting when Lester has his first taste of freedom smoking weed outside, probably to reference the same feeling of relief and awakening. The lighting is soft yet cool, peaceful but still rooted in reality. As Lester leaves the kitchen to marvel in his enlightened awakening, there is a hard light in the kitchen and a soft key light at the table. The hard light in the kitchen acts as a hair light on Lester's temple as he sits to ponder his life. The soft, indirect light acts as a fill to the front of Lester's face, leaving a smooth evenness to his face with little shadows. As we pan away from Lester, the soft light highlights the roses on the table and wall in front of him. The blood glistens in the soft spotlight on the wall in an artful release of dejection. The lighting in American Beauty is used to sensationalize the incongruencies between what Lester had and what he wanted. It tells the story of internalized disappointment and longing, the fantasies of a better life if you just try harder. The lighting in this film parallels the feelings Lester has at the close of his movie and his life. And I can't feel anything but gratitude for every single moment of my stupid little life.